Hi friends, this is Mangal talking from India. Today I'm going to talk to you about some strategies to improve your reading skills. Yes friends, many of us have a lot of issues on reading skills. We don't really improve our reading so easily. We find it very difficult to, grasp the meanings. And some of us find it extremely tough to decode meanings of paragraphs. And we can't sit and read for more than 5 to 10 minutes. Some people tell me that they can't read more than 2 pages or 3 pages at a time. Again, this is an era of distraction. People get distracted so easily. Why is this happening? It's happening because they're habituated to see mobile screens or laptops or palm tops all the time. They are mostly visual learners. They're not auditory learners, and they don't read on their own, and they're not tactile learners. And this is a real challenge that most of us do not have any idea of how to really improve our reading skills. Why should we improve our reading? What are the benefits of reading? These are questions that we have to answer. In order to improve your reading, you need to work on your attention span, and you need to really stop your retrogression. If you're reading a paragraph, say fifth line of the paragraph, then you should not go back to the first line and reread it. This is a habit. Many people, when they read first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line, they again have a habit of going back to the first line or the second line to refer back. So stop referring to the previous lines and try to make sure that you resist the temptation to go back and try to decode it. Please remember, your mind has the power to grasp it, right? What do I mean by it? So, your mind has the absolute ability to grasp all that you read, okay? Believe in that. So, your mind power should be utilized. For that, your concentration is extremely important, right? You need to pay attention on whatever you're reading. You have to understand what you read. And how do I understand without knowing the meanings of words? Very important. You need to really have the meanings first. So you should have the meanings of the words. So work on your vocabulary on a day-to-day basis. Have a vocabulary notebook. Write down the words which you don't understand. Check the meanings in the talking dictionary. A lot of talking dictionaries available today. You can check them, right? You can look at the pronunciation, distinct layers of meanings, usage, etc., and collocations. And you are expected to go through the dictionary examples, contextualize it, and you need to create your own examples, which is very important for you. Another thing I'd always say is to make sure that you improve your reading gradually. First, you take up A2 level text, then B1 level text, B2 level text, then go to C1 level and C2 level text. So, what do I mean by it? I'm saying gradually make it tough for you to understand, distinguish various layers of meaning, etc. So, learning to read requires a lot of guidance and support. There are qualified professionals who teach you how to read. I've been training candidates for reading for the past 20 years, and I've seen candidates improving their reading step by step. I'll always ask them first to read first a few sentences of the first paragraph and grasp the topic statement or the topical statement or a thesis statement. So they get the blueprint, the entire essay or the article in the first few lines. And then I try to distinguish opinions from claims, facts from opinions, inferences. I try to distinguish, the strategy to infer, how to infer a particular statement, and how to interpret. See, that's again a very specialized category. When we are trying to do interpretation, I ask them to read literary text and try to interpret. Okay, so it's very important to get to know the various strategies of interpretation. And when we interpret, we need to be very conscious of how we go about it, right? What kind of data do we have? What kind of facts do we have? How authentic we are in interpreting whatever we listen to or whatever we read. So, reading and interpreting is the biggest challenge today. So, we need to really train people to get to know how to really distinguish opinions from clients and from facts, and then see how to interpret. All right. So improving reading skills means you need to work on, discourse management, right? Sequencing of ideas, and see how sequencing of ideas are done. Like you need to really look at each of these ideas and how they're connected. How is it possible for us to understand how these ideas are interconnected and given a shape, and finally they get concluded. So learn first of all what is the so-called the core input. What is the core input, and what are the examples, and how do they extend their ideas? How does the author generalize it? Does the author have any dominant idea, and what is the dominant idea in each of these paragraphs mentioned there? All these you need to really analyze. So reading to analyze is very important. So learning is not just learning to understand, learning to think, learning to analyze, learning to infer, and learning to interpret, for which you need to really have a systematic training on reading. And reading varieties of texts will play an important role in this regard. What do I mean by it? I'm saying reading, for example, science is different from reading social science or philosophy for that matter. So you need to really have a wide range of reading samples. You should read literary texts. You should read, say, for example, social sciences, culture studies. You need to really think about reading texts in psychology, psychiatry, medical science, engineering, technology, politics, business, right? So you are going to really have a wide range of reading, then your ability to understand becomes better, right? And you understand how each genre of writing differs. That is also a very important skill. You can discern exactly the writing style of the authors, right? You can also get to know how their writing style plays an important role to convey a specific meaning. That is also very, extremely important for us, right? So learning to understand means also analyzing the style of the author, the presentation of the author, the convolution of ideas, captured in the discourse of the author, and looking at very carefully how the author happens to present his or her point of view, right? So you are expected to work by analyzing whatever you read. So reading to understand is the first step. So first, read to understand. Second, what you need to do, take tests which you need to analyze research articles for that matter, right? Research articles could be something which you need to really understand and analyze and try to decode the reasoning behind it. You need to see how logical they are in presenting their ideas. And when you look at creative writings, especially writings of the novelists or short story writers, even news reporters for that matter, it's not creative writing. News reporting is very factual, sometimes opinionated. So looking at opinionated articles, you need to really look at what is the agenda of the author, right? What does the author try to imply? What is the implied meaning, right? What is explicit and what is implicit in that particular text? And for which you need to really have a wide range of texts with various opinions. And you need to see various shades of opinions on the same idea or on the same topic. Then only you could try to get to know how they argue out a particular point of view. So that's very important. So learning to become a resistive reader, learning to become a reader who could be intelligent enough to decode the real core ideology of the author. That's very important. So you could possibly do any exams by looking at the nature of the task given to you and see what the task is all about, and then see whether you can apply your reading skills. The best thing that I would always say is to improve reading. The first thing that you need to really work is on your vocabulary. Second is resist retrogression. Third, avoid repetition. Four, increase the span of attention. Five, grasp the core meaning. Six, try to interpret. Seven, distinguish the facts. Uh, 8, segregate the opinions. 9, analyze, right? 10, sum up. And 11, you may try to get the blueprint of the entire opinion given there. right? With that, I'm stopping here. If you need any important inputs, you're free to talk to me. You can call me up. I'll do my best to support you. Wish you all success. If you want to know more about my creative writings, visit me at www.poetmangalaprathaban.blogspot.com. That is www.poetmangalaprathaban.blogspot.com. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel. If interested, share it with other people. If it's quite interesting, please try to share it. And if it's quite important for you to listen to me, you can also listen to my podcast. It's available in the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, SoundCloud, and innumerable other platforms, including Anchor. You can also, listen to my podcasts in iTunes. And if in case you need to read my writings, my writings are available in the LinkedIn newsletter, Learning to Lead the World. Try to subscribe to the newsletter. My podcasts are listened by people in 32 countries. My newsletter is subscribed by 1,400 plus members across the globe. Wish you all success. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you.